It is to have 2 test tasks before the last call with the CEO. Hello sprinters! Let's talk hiring. And since we were quite new in the hiring field, we took consultants ourselves who are experts in hiring, and they gave us this tactic which they use, and it is to have 2 test tasks before the last call with the CEO. And the first test task, you might remember the 15 steps that we use. So step 6 is to have the first test task completed, and then there is the second one here, test task 2 completed. We are going to share now this first one. So the example we are going to show is from, we are trying to hire a sales position. So we will think about what can be a first small task they can do. And so the first task will be a small one, the second will be a bigger one. First one we came up with is, and I want you to think through what's your next hire, what is the position, and what could be the smallest increment that they can show so that you know they have the skills and they have the right assets to do that. So, and what are the right assets? They know how to do it and they are willing to do it, basically. Now, and if they don't know, you see how they ask questions, how proactively they ask, and how they deal with not knowing. And if they are not motivated, you see how they deal with not wanting. Which will be, I didn't have the time, or this happened, I didn't have the login, or whatever. It usually comes as an excuse or as a delay. But you want to check if they have the ability and the willingness to do the task, so you give them a first task. Now, as an example of a small increment, we were hiring for a sales position, so we said, okay, your first task is go review this video where Simon is doing a sales call, and then give us some feedback per video. What do you think Simon did well? What could he improve? Which questions did you have, and what could he have done differently? So they will create a small video, and we get this video so we see how they are in person, how they relate, how they speak, how they carry themselves, and also how did they solve this task. So it's a meaningful task, and it's a task that is exactly related to the job role, and that's important. So don't give a generic task like calculate how many XYZ are there in China. Give real, and yes, I saw people, that's why I tell you, because I saw many companies give generic tasks. You are wasting the time of everybody, and you are telling how low the professional standard is in your processes. So be specific, think it through, think of one task that is really important, and remember, you have to just design one task per role. So every time you will hire that role, the job is done and it's automated. But the first time, think it through, and this is an example. So hope that this example makes it easy for you to start. Think of the role and think of what could be the smallest thing that you can test with them to have feedback in action. Now, start with the first small task, and the next video will be about the second bigger task. Keep rolling.
You want to make your sales more repeatable and reliable? Do you want to have less volatility and more growth in your revenue per month? At Strategy Sprints, we do only one thing: strategy in sprints. Strategy means having more revenue through a better offer. In sprints means having more energy in your team every week. Check out if your ROI is as high as it is for most service-based and online businesses and startups we work with, which is over 100%. You can see it in just 15 minutes by going to strategysprints.com/sales and completing our online exercise to know what your ROI would be with our accelerator program. We are ready to sprint. Are you?
Hello, sprinters. Hiring, the second task. This is what we learned from the consultants we got to help us create our hiring systems. And they said the second task should be a bigger one. Still very specific, because you are showing also how professional your processes are. And I saw many firms that give a very generic tasks, like a case study to solve or a riddle to solve. Don't do that. You are showing how low the standard of your precision in processes is. So if this is for a specific role, let's say a controller, then give a controlling task. I will show you an example when we were hiring for a salesperson, and the second task we did was to really simulate a sales situation. So we said, okay, first watch this video, and this is where we explain our 90-day program. Now imagine that Andy, a potential client, is asking if this is a good fit for him. And then some pro tips, and then we said, okay, the problem of Andy is that he has 15K per month right now, but they are sporadic and volatile, and he wants to go to 25 per month, but in a really reliable way. What would you tell Andy? And now they will tell us by doing a video, which is a great way. It is really helpful for us. It's so simple. They just use their phone and make a quick video of a couple minutes, but it is so helpful because you see the person, so you see how they carry themselves, how they interpret the task, and how they deliver the task. Because you remember Seth Godin, who says, art not shipped is not art. So you need to ship it. So whatever they say, they can tell you that they were the best salesperson of Coca-Cola Asia Pacific. Yes, maybe. But you will see it when they do a 3 minutes video, how they carry themselves, how their level of professionality, of preparation, and of delivery. You will see it in 3 minutes. So, and that tells you much more than if they say, I was the best salesperson of Coca-Cola Asia Pacific. This video will tell you how their skills and their willingness and their professionality looks like. So, and it's really efficient because you have 3 minutes to know a lot about that person. What we also observe is which questions they ask and how fast they ship. Of course, we are sprinters, so speed is one of the things that is appropriate and is important in our world. So we also check how fast they ship this video and how many excuses happen along the way. Yeah, so hiring test task number 2. So I hope that this now has stripped away all the preoccupation and anxieties that you have when creating your own hiring system. This was task number 2. So at this point you are at number 9 and are quite far now in creating your system. So just take 15 minutes to draft task number 2, and you are now very far in your progress in creating your hiring system. If you have any question, tag your sprint coach and keep rolling.
We all know that working in sprints is better, but how do we know what we should work on? You're in luck because we have a 15-minute exercise that will give you complete clarity on where to take your project next. Go to strategysprints.com/sales to complete our short exercise and meet one-on-one with an expert sprint coach to identify your number one bottleneck. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed that episode of The Strategy Show. Make sure to like this video below and subscribe so that you can stay up to date with every episode of The Strategy Show. Get daily CEO tips from CEOs for CEOs.